just said. Go to the calendar for Bible. You'll see in September that you have this Judah map project. We're going to move that. So it's not going to be due next week because we're spending a little more time with service action right now. But you have your Bible submission. Those are your notes. I might move that to Monday or to next week, Tuesday instead, so that you get chapters 1 through 9 uploaded. Remember, the first week you did chapters 1, 2, and 3, your summaries, analyze, and judgment, and then you did 4, 5, and 6 last week. And this week it is 7, 8, and 9. So make sure you're doing that this week. Obviously, today we're going to be focusing on our service action, as it's an important process. Go all the way to December. December 7 is when your service action is due. We're going to be finished SA before Christmas. It'll be a magical experience for you all, I'm sure. First things first, what you see here is a video tutorial of how to set up service action in management. Sorry. Each one of you guys is going to have to set up your own SA in ManageBack. Okay, Kayla has her hand up. Kayla, what is your question?
I wrote something in the chat.
Okay, so sorry. Let me see here. Okay, all I hear is my vacuum. Oh, I saw you guys before. That's why I didn't put you in the attendance, Kayla.
Oh, okay.
You had talked to me already, so I knew you were there. Services action tutorial. This is set up. So if you forget what we did today, you are able to go here and do the same thing. I'm going to try to update it, but what you need to do is you go to your year group or your IB manager. You click on this, and this is what I get to see, but click on your service action when you're in your IB manager, and then click on a name. I'm going to click on Michelle. Okay. Congratulations, Michelle. What you'll see here is all the past things that Michelle has done for services action. Last year, this year, becoming more aware in the orphanage, those kinds of things, the completion, those kinds of things. What you're going to do is you'll click on the Add SA Activity. When you add the SA activity, you put your activity name. You haven't come up with that yet. You might be doing textbook creation for SL Halampung. You might have something else, tutoring or something like that. Whatever your service action is, then in school or out of school. Right now, everybody's out of school. The date is today that you start. The end date is December 7. Put me as your supervising teacher, your goals. What do you want to do? And then select the area of which you're going to be focusing on. So I'll show you that in the next slide, but you click on it and then you'll upload any documents and journal entries into this activity in your essay. So we don't submit it to the ManageBack task that you see here. That is just so that you can see it in your calendar and you don't have to forget about it. So there's a reminder, but you do not submit your stuff in this Dropbox. You submit it to your SA Dropbox, which this video tells you all about. So you can see here, there's no submissions, but any document that I talk about today that you will be needing or that you might need to use or that you might want to use can be found here. I recommend when you use it, you download it and you save it to your OneDrive so that you don't lose it. And you can always find it and access any updates that you have made. Now, with that being said, we're going to switch to Teams. I'm going to show you the documents. Last week we talked about the services action, why we do it, why we do it at a Christian school, what it's going to look like for grade 8. And sorry, this thing's being frustrating. What, I can't see the chat right now. The share, sorry, I got way too many things going on. My brain. What you need to know, service action is a requirement to pass grade 7. Okay. This is the PowerPoint. You have this PowerPoint in ManageBack. All these documents you can find. So we talked about services action, all those things. We talked about the types of service, direct, indirect, all those kinds of things. And then we talked about what you're going to do in grade 8. You're going to focus on school and education in general, whether in Indonesia or abroad. Then your service action is going to be focused on making a plan led by yourself and to persevere in action. So in ManageBack, you saw those things, those buttons you click for learning outcomes. That's these. Just in ManageBack, they're one word. So we made them more than one word, okay, so that you can understand a little bit better what's expected of you. So you can always go and see this. I'll show this again in a second, but the next thing that's important for you to know is while you are doing your services action this year, you are going to be making the whole process into a documentary video, 5 to 10 minute documentary. Okay. What that means is while you're doing it, you're videotaping yourself doing the research. You're telling us why you're doing what. You're taking pictures of the process, what you're doing in preparation, how you figured out how you're going to help this community, what is a method plan for how to serve, those kinds of things. And then when you serve, right, you take a video of yourself doing it, you add your reflections at the end, there's questions for the reflections, and then you do your bi-weekly journal. So it's important that you remember your final product for services action is a video and a form. There's 2 things that will be your final. It's this HyperDoc video document and the form. Okay, this form, make sure that you got all your ducks in a row. So you'll submit this along with your video. So your name, collaborating teacher, which outcomes, persevering in action, and basically being able to make a student initiated plan. Scope of service, right? That is education in general. What specific community will you be serving? SLH, Lampung, or some other school? What are the needs of the community which you're focusing on? You're going to have to ask or talk to somebody who's in that community. So while you're doing this, you'll be looking for contacts, people who you can speak to, or people who are in schools or orphanages. Then you're planning, you make a timeline. By September 14, I want to have this finished. By October 12, we're going to have the whole thing, or we're going to go and do our actual service, person in charge, list of equipment and resources you might need. What skills will you need to finish the project? And then choose a service action verse. So a verse that you are going to be thinking of and growing in while you do it. And then if you have groups, I don't think there's going to be many groups this year. And then adult supervisor, you put those in, you do that. Once that's approved, then you can take action, making a bi-weekly journal. That means every 2 weeks. And then when you're all finished, you answer the reflection questions. That is services action, what's required of you. Services action with a form and a video documentary. All grades at SBL have to do these. So next year, you'll do the same thing. The year after that, the same thing. But you'll be doing different areas of life. So in grade 6, you focused on your families, right? Last year, you focused on community needs. This year, you're focusing on education, right? Now, what you guys need to do today, without making your own groups, think of, actually, So school and education in general, that is your focus. I want you to come up with 2 or 3 things that you think you would be able to do to help school and education in general, whether that's tutoring different people that you know of, or in a library, or there are schools that are a part of SPH. So there's different levels. They're called SLH schools, and they're in some of the hardest areas of Indonesia. They're poor communities that otherwise wouldn't have a school, and they need help. So in the past, kids have translated textbooks and documents like that, and they use those and they gave them to the schools so that they could print their own copies and have more materials for students. Some of them taught how to do like things like PowerPoint, how to use Word document, those kinds of things, how to save. They made tutorials so that when kids, and these would have to be in Bahasa, they could help kids learn at those schools as well. And sometimes it was providing them with sports equipment because they don't have any, those kinds of things. So right now in class, and you need to message me privately in Teams with your idea, come up with 2 or 3 things that you think you would want to do for your services action. Don't think about your group mates yet. I'll kind of see who would make a good group based off of your interest. And then also think about what type of service you want it to be. Would you rather be direct, indirect, research, or advocacy with your different options, and say which one you would really like to do the most with each idea that you have. Because if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to be able to make you want to do it. So find something you want to do. My expectation for you guys is by the end of class today, you have messaged me with your ideas for your essay, what you will do, and hopefully I can give you the green light and you can start working on your essay forms. I'm going to pause.